You know, there's this classic story, maybe you've heard it, about two young fish swimming along.
Hmm.
And they meet an older fish who swims past, and he nods and says, "Morning, boys, how's the water?"
Right.
The two young fish swim on for a bit, and then one of them just stops, looks at the other, and asks, "What the hell is water?"
It's a perfect setup for what we're doing today. A really perfect setup.
Because today we are talking about the water. We are tackling a question that it sounds so simple, but it is the engine behind absolutely everything.
It's the question behind all the other questions.
How does human experience actually work? And I want to be really clear for everyone listening. I don't mean the biology of it. You know, how photons hit your retina.
Or how eardrums vibrate, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And I don't mean the social part either, like how you tell your partner about your day. I mean the actual mechanics. What's the black box that turns stuff happening out there into my life in here?
It's a huge concept. And to get our heads around it, we're diving into some fascinating material from an organization called Spectrix.
Spectrix. Okay, we have to talk about the name right away.
You have to.
It sounds a bit like a shell company in a spy movie, or maybe a tech startup that's about to invent a supervillain.
It does have that sci-fi edge to it. But in their documents, they call themselves a metaphysical institute. Their whole focus is on mind-body-spirit alignment.
Which, honestly, that's usually where my eyes might start to glaze over. You hear mind, body, spirit, you think of wellness trends and, I don't know, expensive juice.
Sure.
But what really hooked me here was their origin story. They're so specific about what they are not.
That stood out to me, too. They say they weren't founded to chase trends or ride some social media hashtag. They say they came from a quieter question.
A quieter question. I love that. It feels like while the world is shouting about productivity hacks and 10 ways to be happy, there's this deeper thing we're all ignoring.
Right. And they argue most people feel that question way before they can even put words to it. They want to get beyond social descriptions, which is basically just us telling stories to each other, and clinical reductions.
Clinical reductions meaning treating people like broken cars.
Exactly. Like, you just need a new part and you will be fine.
So if they aren't fixing cars and they aren't just telling stories, what's the core idea? Because they drop a pretty heavy concept right at the start.
They do. The central thesis of all their work is this. Human beings do not just observe reality. We aren't cameras taking objective pictures.
And see, that's the part where I had to just put the paper down for a second, because I think most of us assume we see what's there. Red light means stop. It's objective.
And Spectrix says, hold on a second. Their material argues we interpret, we filter, and we construct reality internally before we ever act on it.
We construct it so that red light, it's not just a red light.
The light itself is real, the physics are real.
Yeah.
But the experience of it, the frustration, the anxiety that you'll be late, the relief that you get to check a text, that is all a construction.
And that construction dictates what you do next.
Precisely. So today, we're going to get into that construction. We'll look at the architecture of experience Spectrix lays out. We'll break down the 5 overlapping lenses they use. And fair warning, they get a little philosophical.
But in a good way.
In a very practical way. And then we'll look at their toolkit and why they believe trying to fix yourself is the wrong approach entirely.
Okay, let's stick with constructing reality. That sounds a bit abstract. How does it happen? Is it a conscious thing?
Almost never. The source breaks it down into this chain reaction. It all happens in a split second. First, meaning is formed.
So event happens and my brain slaps a meaning onto it.
Right. Then that perception starts to shape a belief. And finally, this is the kicker. Your belief quietly governs your behavior.
That word quietly really jumps out. It's like we're running on code we didn't even know was there.
Think about it like this. You send an important email to a colleague, something you worked on for weeks. They reply with one word, received.
Ugh, I hate that. My stomach just dropped even hearing you say it.
Right. So what's the objective reality?
Right.
8 letters. RECEIVED. That's all that actually happened. But your construction engine kicks in, meaning they're mad at me, perception shapes belief, I messed up the project, my job is in danger.
And then belief governs behavior. So I get defensive or I avoid them all day.
Exactly. You might go home and complain about how awful your job is. Meanwhile, someone else gets that exact same email.
And they think, oh, they're busy. Great. They got it. And they go get a sandwich.
Exactly. Same event out there, totally different life in here. Spectrix is saying if you want to change that anxiety, you can't just tell yourself to be cooler. You have to look at the blueprint. How did you construct that meaning in the first place?
It's the difference between, I guess, painting over a crack in the wall and checking the foundation to see why it cracked?
That is a great analogy. And they have a very specific way of checking that foundation. They do it through what they call 5 overlapping lenses.
Okay, I saw this list and had a flashback to college. We have ontology, natural theology, causality, cosmology, and philosophy of mind. It feels very academic.
It is, but they insist these aren't just abstract ideas. At a university, you'd study these in 5 different departments. Spectrix says you're looking through all 5 of these lenses at the same time, all the time.
Okay, well, let's clean the glass then,
Okay.
one by one. What's ontology?
Ontology is the study of being. It asks, what does it mean to be, or what is the nature of my existence?
Which sounds like a question you ask after staring at the stars for too long, but practically it's about identity, isn't it?
Spot on. It's asking, who am I, really? Am I my job title? Am I my body? Am I my thoughts? Because if your implicit ontology is, I am my achievements, then failing at something isn't just an error.
It's an existential threat. It attacks your very being.
Exactly.
Wow, that hits hard. That explains burnout in a completely new way. If I construct my reality as I am what I produce, then any unproductive time is literally an attack on my existence.
And that's why relaxing can feel so dangerous for some people. Their core ontology just won't allow for it.
Okay, that makes a ton of sense. Next up, natural theology. I see theology and I think religion, dogma, but the key word here is natural.
A crucial distinction, yes. This isn't about what a holy book says. It asks, what can I know just from reason and observation?
Yeah.
It's looking at the universe, at nature, at physics, and asking, is there a truth here I can learn from?
So it's not God said so. It's more like the universe seems to run on these principles and fighting them just causes pain.
Right. It's finding truth in the structure of things.
Hmm.
You look at nature, you see cycles, winter, spring, summer, fall. Things die, they go dormant, and then they're reborn. So if your life hits a winter,
Like a layoff or a breakup.
yeah, natural theology lets you ask, is this the end? Or is it just a natural part of the cycle I see everywhere else?
That is a hugely helpful reframe. It moves you from, why is this happening to me, to, oh, it's winter, spring will come.
Which leads us perfectly into the third lens, which is all about that why,
Go ahead.
causality.
A big one.
Causality asks, why do things happen? And importantly, whether intention plays a role.
The classic question, right? Is life just random atoms bumping into each other, or is there a point to it all?
Right. So imagine you get a flat tire on the way to a huge interview. If your causality lens is the universe is random and chaotic, then it's just bad luck. You're a victim. You get angry.
But if my lens says there might be intention,
You might react differently. You might ask, well, did I ignore the maintenance light? That's cause and effect. Or, on a more metaphysical level, you might ask, maybe this delay is protecting me from something. It completely changes the feeling of frustration.
it moves you from victim to participant. Okay, number 4, cosmology.
In this context, it's about origin, order, and structure. Where did this all come from? And more importantly, is the universe a friendly place?
Einstein's big question.
Exactly. If your personal cosmology is the universe is hostile and resources are scarce, you will build a reality based on competition. Everyone is a threat. You hoard things.
But if you believe the universe is abundant and generative, you collaborate, you share, you trust.
And the really wild part is, you don't even know you're making a choice. You think you're just reacting to the truth of how the world works.
You're just reacting to your own internal cosmology. Okay, last one. Philosophy of mind.
The source calls this one the intimate question. It's, what is consciousness and how does it shape my experience?
The ghost in the machine.
Yes. It asks, am I my thoughts or am I the one listening to my thoughts? If you believe you are your thoughts, then every anxious thought is a command. But if you're the awareness behind them.
You can just watch them go by like clouds. You're not in the movie, you're in the theater watching it.
Precisely. So to circle back, these aren't just academic topics. They are the practical, operational filters you're using every single second of every day.
So if my lens is dirty, the whole world looks dirty.
Okay.
And no amount of trying to clean the world is going to fix the smudge on my own lens.
You couldn't have put it better. And that brings us to this so what? I mean, if we accept all this,
Yeah.
what do we do about it?
This is where we get into their toolkit. But first, something in the text really stood out to me. They say their services are not designed to fix people.
I loved this part. They are so clear. We are not here to fix you, diagnose you, or impose outcomes.
Which is so rare. Usually the deal is, I'm broken, please fix me.
It's that Western medical model again.
Mhm.
Find the problem, cut it out. Spectrix frames it as alignment, and recalibration.
Recalibration. That implies the machine is fine, it's just pointing the wrong way.
Exactly. The idea is to help you observe how you're constructing meaning. Once you can see the lens, you can decide if it still serves you. They look for coherence, clarity, or continuity.
So if my construction is making my life chaotic and miserable, it lacks coherence. Time to recalibrate.
Right. And they do that with specific modalities. The sourceless neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP hypnosis, breathwork, guided reflection, and energy-based alignment.
That's quite a mix. You've got NLP, which is very much about language and the mind, and it's sitting right next to breathwork, which is completely in the body.
And that's the point. They call them integrated tools.
Why does that integration matter so much?
Because your reality construction happens on every level at once. Let's go back to that received email. Your mind uses language. They're mad at me. That's where NLP can help. But your body tightens up, your chest gets tight.
Right.
That's where breathwork comes in. If you only talk about it, your chest is still tight. If you only breathe through it, your mind is still spinning the same old story.
You have to address the whole system, the language, the feeling, the sensation.
Exactly. Or the old pattern just sneaks back in through the side door.
So who is this for? Who actually goes to a place like Spectrix?
Well, the source says it can be people seeking clarity or alignment. But then it has this phrase that I just loved. Some come because something no longer fits, and they can't quite name why.
Oh, that is such a specific and relatable feeling. The suit just doesn't fit anymore, even though it looks fine on the hanger.
It's that subtle dissonance. It's for people who are done with the surface-level story. They're ready to look at the wiring diagram underneath.
It's for the curious. Which brings us to the source material itself, which is an introduction to their podcast, Perspectives by Spectrix. And their whole approach to it is, well, it's almost anti-marketing.
It really is. In a world of 15-second hot takes and rage bait, they say their goal is to slow the conversation down.
Slow the conversation down. That sounds like a luxury.
And they say they aren't there to persuade you of anything. They aren't trying to convert you to the Spectrix way.
Which is usually the big red flag for organizations like this, isn't it? Here's the one true way, now pay up.
They do the complete opposite. They say they fully expect listeners to disagree with some of the perspectives. They welcome it.
So disagreement isn't a failure of the process.
It is the process, because the goal isn't agreement, it's inquiry. They say what matters is that you think more clearly and perhaps begin to notice how your own perceptions shape what you believe you're hearing.
There it is again. They want you to watch yourself listening. Why does that idea annoy me? Why am I so drawn to this one?
It's a real-time practice. They're just creating a safe space for inquiry and integration. You don't have to defend your worldview. You just have to be willing to inspect it.
It's like they're saying, come on in. We're just going to look at the blueprints of the house you live in. You don't have to change a thing, but wouldn't it be interesting to know where the load-bearing walls are?
That's a fantastic way to put it. And that invitation is really the core of their whole philosophy.
So as we wrap up, I'm trying to boil this all down. We have this idea that we are the architects of our own experience. Terrifying, but also empowering.
And the mechanism is that we're filtering reality through these 5 lenses. Ontology, causality, all of those.
And the method isn't to fix ourselves, but to align ourselves. To clean the lenses using tools like NLP and breathwork.
For me, the biggest takeaway is the agency it gives you.
Right.
If I am constructing my reality, then I can also reconstruct it.
It takes you out of victimhood. Life stops happening to you. You start participating in it.
And once you accept that, checking your lenses becomes the most practical thing you can do. It's not just philosophy. It's making sure your beliefs are actually serving you, not just some old script you learned as a kid.
It's about coherence. Does the inside match the outside?
Exactly.
So, we want to leave you with a thought today, something to take with you.
We've talked a lot about filters, so try this. Pick one thing in your life that you believe is a hard, cold fact.
Could be, my boss hates me, or I'm not a creative person.
Or the world is getting worse. Take that fact and just look at it.
Ask yourself, is this an objective observation?
Or is it a construction? Which lens am I seeing this through? The most important question. What would happen to my reality if I just slightly recalibrated that lens?
That's the work. It's been a pleasure diving into the deep end with you.
Until next time.